Have you ever felt her slipping away, and no matter what you said or did, it felt like she was already halfway out the door? That panic, that knot in your stomach, that's your intuition screaming the truth. She's testing you. Not for cruelty, not for fun, but to see if you're the man who can hold her attention. Not through words, but through presence. Most men react with desperation. They text more, call more, explain themselves, and every desperate message chips away at what little attraction remains. But here's the part most men will never realize. The pull of a woman isn't built on persistence. It's built on your energy, your boundaries, your unshakable self. She notices when a man is steady, even in the moments where she withdraws. She notices when he doesn't chase, when he keeps his life intact, full, vibrant, unbothered by uncertainty. Women are wired to respond to power that is calm, not panic that is loud. And yet, most men fail here. They hand over their attention, their time, their emotions like a currency that has no return. But the truth is brutal. The more you give without structure, the less she respects you. The more you cling, the more her desire fades. Now, let's go deeper, because desire is more complex than attraction. She doesn't just come back for what you do. It's how you exist in her life. Your absence, your mystery, your emotional gravity, these are forces far stronger than words. She senses your calm detachment, your internal power, and her brain starts to shift. Chemicals surge, curiosity spikes, and she wonders what it is about you that makes you untouchable, even to her attempts to pull you close. Most men would misread this as rejection and run. But if you understand this, if you see it for what it truly is, a magnetic test, you suddenly hold all the cards. Here's the paradox. The harder she pulls away, the stronger the chance she will come back, but only if you resist the urge to crumble. Most men fail because they forget one rule of psychology that's simple, but devastatingly effective. The absence of pursuit creates desire. The presence of desperation destroys it. Every man who panics sends a signal that he lacks control, that he lacks value, and that he can be taken. Women don't just notice this, they feel it at a primal level. And this is where the real strategy begins. You don't need to manipulate. You don't need to argue. You don't need to beg. You simply need to exist in a way that makes her presence in your life feel like a privilege, not a given. Because here's the truth most men can't stomach. She will come back. But she will not come back to the man she tested. She will come back to the man who passed. And passing isn't about ego, it's about mastery. Mastery of self, mastery of desire, mastery of timing. This isn't a game for the weak. It's a psychological battlefield, and the prize is her return. But the first step, the invisible step that men consistently miss, is to understand that panic is your enemy. Presence is your weapon, and every moment you resist the urge to react, you are building a force she cannot ignore. Let's get brutally honest. If you want her to come back, you need to become a man who cannot be shaken by absence or rejection. Not because you're cold, not because you're cruel, but because your sense of self is unassailable. Right now, most men reading this are panicking at the thought of her ignoring them, wondering if every text they sent pushed her further away. That panic, it's visible. It leaks through energy, tone, posture, even your social media. Women feel it. And here's the shocking part. She doesn't want a man who chases. She wants a man who commands. Commanding isn't about dominance. It's about control over your own world. It's about having a life so full, so magnetic, that she feels the gravitational pull of your presence even when she's not around. Imagine this. You're not texting her every hour, not explaining yourself, not bending to her moods. You're living, growing, improving, excelling in ways that light up your life independently. And somewhere in the back of her mind, she notices, curiosity ignites, questions rise. Why is he so calm? Why isn't he begging? Why does his life seem so full without me? That tension, that question is what draws her back. Most men never reach this point because they fail at the subtle, invisible game, emotional restraint. The world tells you to react, to fix, to apologize, to explain. But she is not a problem to solve. She is a complex human, wired to test, to withdraw, to push boundaries. And your job isn't to control her, it's to hold yourself steady while she dances between desire and doubt. Think of it like gravity. She will orbit closer if you remain anchored, unmoving. Any tremor in your energy, a desperate text, a passive-aggressive comment, a pleading call disrupts that orbit, and she drifts away again. Here's the secret most men never hear. Attraction is built on absence and tension, not presence and ease. You create desire by being unpredictable in the right way, unavailable enough to spark curiosity, stable enough to radiate confidence. And no, this isn't manipulation. This is psychology. Your calm, your patience, your refusal to chase signals value. And women respond to value because attraction is not rational, it is primal. She will feel it before she can even name it. Now, the trick is subtle but critical. You do not act like a stranger. You act like a man who knows his worth and doesn't need validation. You engage with warmth, with humor, with strength, but never with desperation. You allow space for her to miss you, to wonder, to feel the pull of what she risked leaving behind. Most men interpret silence as rejection or failure, but here's the truth. Silence can be the most magnetic force you wield. It says, without words, I exist fully. Your presence is optional. Your choice is yours, but I am whole with or without you. And that subtle shift in energy, that's what makes her come back. Every single time. Now let's talk about the behaviors that make her feel like she cannot stay away. Not tricks, not games, but subtle shifts in how you exist that trigger something deep inside her. Most men focus on what they say, compliments, promises, reassurances, but women respond to what they feel, and what she feels is energy, presence, and emotional gravity. This is where men consistently fail. They think texting, calling, or explaining themselves will win her back. It won't. What wins her back is a man whose energy communicates one unshakable truth. You are complete, unbothered, and magnetic. Start by creating an atmosphere where she experiences absence as tension, not emptiness. Don't flood her with attention. Make your time scarce, your life full. Every text you withhold, every moment you resist reacting to her withdrawal, sends a message she feels before she understands. You are not dependent on her. This triggers curiosity, a pull she cannot consciously resist. And when she feels curiosity, something in her chemistry shifts. Dopamine spikes, her brain starts replaying moments with you, and the question begins to form, why isn't he chasing me? That question is the doorway to her return. Next, focus on subtle signs of value that she cannot ignore. Posture, tone, confidence, and small actions all communicate more than words ever can. A man who walks into a room and owns it, who speaks with clarity, who laughs without needing validation, radiates a presence that pulls her in. Your life outside of her attention becomes proof that you are worth coming back to. Women are wired to detect stability, consistency, and independence, traits that scream attraction more loudly than any compliment or promise. Here's a critical truth. She wants to feel the consequence of her absence. If she can leave without feeling tension, without missing your energy, she will never come back. So, you craft that tension not by being mean or cold, but by being fully engaged in your own life while subtly leaving space for her to wonder. It's a delicate balance. You allow connection, warmth, and charm in interactions, but you never sacrifice your emotional stability. You are the prize, not the chase. And finally, timing. The universe of attraction is not linear. She will pull, she will test, she will retreat. If you react impulsively, you teach her that she controls the dynamic. If you remain grounded, she begins to chase her own curiosity. Imagine a rope. Every pull she gives, you maintain a steady hand. Not too close, not too far. That tension becomes irresistible. She doesn't consciously decide to return. It's primal. Her desire is activated by your calm, your presence, your refusal to be moved by panic. The men who fail, the ones she never comes back to, are the ones who lose themselves in the process. They become needy, anxious, predictable. But the man who masters this invisible dance, he becomes magnetic. And when she does come back, it isn't because you begged or explained, it's because she can't resist the pull of a man who holds his life fully, who exists with confidence, and who never loses himself in the attempt to keep her. Now, let's confront the hardest truth most men refuse to accept. She will never come back to the man who is not whole. She will never chase a man who depends on her for validation, for happiness, for identity. Your ability to draw her back is not about clever words, gifts, or apologies. It is about becoming a man she cannot ignore. A man who exists fully in his own life, no matter what she does. Every insecurity you try to hide, every anxious thought you allow to rule your actions, it leaks through. And she feels it. attraction is ruthless, and it is unforgiving. So how do you become that man? First, embrace your life with intensity. Pursue your goals, cultivate skills, sharpen your body and mind, and create a world so compelling that she feels she is entering something extraordinary if she comes back. Your energy, your focus, your confidence, they are louder than any text or plea. She doesn't want a man who is available. She wants a man who is unavailable in the right way. Unavailable means you are emotionally anchored, consistently high value, and untouchable by panic. This is the psychological trigger she cannot resist. Second, master the art of detachment without indifference. Detachment is not coldness, it's emotional sovereignty. You care, but you do not bend. You love, but you do not cling. You engage, but you never overextend. Every time she tests, withdraws, or pulls back, you remain steady. This is where men fail. They mistake caring for chasing, presence for obsession. She senses the difference immediately, and that difference is what sparks her longing. It is invisible, but its effect is primal. Third, understand the power of timing and subtle action. When she comes back, you do not greet her with desperation. You greet her with calm, with warmth, with intrigue. You acknowledge her presence without lowering your value. Small gestures, well-timed conversations, and emotional gravity build an irresistible momentum. She begins to associate your stability with safety, your independence with desire, and her own return as an act of choice rather than circumstance. You create the pull without force, without drama, purely through presence and psychological tension. Finally, internalize this ultimate principle. Her return is not proof of her love, it is proof of your mastery. And mastery begins and ends with you. Every anxious thought resisted, every emotional overreaction avoided, every moment you choose presence over panic is a building block in a force she cannot ignore. When she feels the magnetic pull, when curiosity turns into desire, she will come back, but not to a man she once tested. She will come back to a man who mastered himself, a man who commands attraction without chasing, a man whose energy is untouchable. So here's what I want you to do right now. Take a moment and ask yourself, how much of your energy do you give away to her, and how much do you hold for yourself? Take that equation, write it down, and share your answer in the comments below. If this truth hit you, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and share this with a friend who needs to hear this today. Because the power to make her come back isn't in her hands. It's in yours.